Hello and welcome to the Franz van Kath interview. I'm Annette Young. In 1989, a 26-year-old railway electrician in Beijing helped form China's first independent trade union in more than 40 years. But it was a move that came at a great cost for Han Dongfang. He was placed at the top of the Chinese government's most wanted list and in prison for 22 months without trial. After contacting tuberculosis in prison, Han was released in April 1991. Nowadays, he's based in Hong Kong, where he continues to be an advocate for workers' rights. And his book, entitled My Fights for Chinese Workers, has just been published in French. Han Dongfang joins me in the studio today. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Let's go back to 1989. You actually turned yourself in to the authorities, didn't you, after forming this trade union and realising that you've been placed as number one on the most wanted list?
Yes, you're wanted for some reason, and you have to respond on that. And I decided to walk into the police station just because I promised during the movement when I was running for the election to be the committee member of my organization. I promised to people, I said, don't worry, we are doing everything legal. We're legally entitled. And if one day we need to go to prison, I will walk into prison by myself. So don't worry about that. It was the promise to comfort people that no worry to participate.
But that's a brave move on your part.
Well, you can also say there's no choice because you did make the promise.
So what happened when you did actually turn up at the police station?
They said, oh, great, you're clever. You gave up yourself. And I said, no, wait, man. What you mean gave up myself? And he said, yes, you did these terrible things, and then you're facing to some consequences, and then you gave up yourself. You may have the chance to reduce the punishment. I said, no, it's not what I mean here. I'm here because I'm the spokesperson of the organization, and I promise to people, if one day I face to this, I will come in by myself. And I asked him, can you please ask the soldiers with the machine guns next to us, do something on me and make it symbolic, and that I will feel better. And when I walk in, I'm not giving up. And he said, please don't make trouble here at this moment. You're not giving up. Let's come in and we have tea. So
Which is a very Chinese response, isn't it, to sit down and have tea?
Yeah. So,
but were you scared? Were you frightened?
Yes. If I say no, it's a lie. It's obviously when I made that decision, it was a decision to the end. It's I never thought it could be that serious. Even I made that promise and go to prison by myself. And when I saw this, the calculation was if I run away, maybe I didn't have the chance to run as many days. I will be ended up the same. But if I walk in, do what I promise, at least if I face to the execution, I die with dignity. I don't have regret.
I just want to go back a few steps and talk about what got you to that point. You know, what made you decide to go ahead and form a union, knowing full well that, you know, the consequences of such an action?
The most important reason was the education. I was educated by the communism. The working class should be the leading class in this country, but I never seen the situation really go like that. And second, I came from a working family. My mother was a construction worker. My father was a farmer. So I myself was a electrician on the train. So it's, I would say it's natural for me to, when I saw this situation in Tiananmen Square and start talking with the students about what is democracy, and naturally come up with, well, we don't have democracy in our workplace, and who are the ones making decisions about our salary or bonus? So we don't have industrial democracy in the workplace. So that's how the conversations go on and on. Then By the way, I was not the one established this organization. It's someone else established. I joined later.
Now, after you were released from prison, you were expelled to Hong Kong, which of course is in a special administrative zone, but still under the control of the Chinese. Do they still make life difficult for you?
No, I never had difficult life in Hong Kong except the weather. The first few years I come from Beijing, northern people in summertime is sweating if you are out for 20 seconds.
But do you feel that you're still under scrutiny by China?
No, never. Since the first day I arrived there, I never feel any kind of a threat and pressured. And during the handover in 1997, all my friends tried to persuade me to leave the city because they would say, oh, you have only one lung left and you will go to prison again, you will be dead there. And I said, no, I don't believe that.
Do you feel that the reason that you're able to continue your life in Hong Kong and still be a very loud advocate for workers' rights is a sign that things perhaps are changing in mainland China?
The two reasons I believe there wouldn't be a problem. One is Hong Kong's independent judiciary system. I have full confidence on that. And second is destroying Hong Kong is not in the Communist Party's interests. So two combined together, I will be safe.
Now, China, as we just were saying, has changed dramatically since 1989. It's become effectively the world's factory, hasn't it? I mean, what has happened to workers' rights as a result?
Well, China provides the biggest cheap labor to the world the last 20 years. That's the main force driving the globalization into what is today, careless about human life, only about profit. So Chinese workers, although we are not voluntarily doing that, being cheap, being no rights, but it's the fact that we were the main force. So make the situation today. But after 20 years being victims of exploitation, and the biggest change is Chinese workers are standing up, not keeping quiet anymore, not being victims only, tearing and being bitter, but organizing strikes to demand what we deserve better.
And is the Chinese government actually listening?
Oh yeah, surprisingly. You wouldn't believe in that 10 years ago, as now the Chinese government responding to these workers' spontaneous strikes. 10 years ago, this is the shortcut to go to prison if you organize a strike in the factory. And now you still have people being arrested by organizing strikes, but compared to 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, it's much, much less. And the Chinese government, they don't want, I think they realize something the last 20 years they have done stupid, which is blocking the way in between workers and employers, making the workers' life difficult, but the workers' anger all channeled to themselves. So that's not a good move, and they want to change it.
Well, surely with the government wanting to transform China from an agricultural society into a mega-urban society, into one where consumerist aspirations are actively encouraged, is it not also at the same time, or rather at the same time, that people will want to have freedom of expression, that they want all the things that go with a middle-class lifestyle?
Well, I would say it is coming, especially you have the internet, social media, and now the government officials in particular. Anything you do, it's hardly for you to hide it. And it's within a few hours, if you are hated, if you did something terrible, and someone will find you. And someone will find you what kind of belt you wear and what kind of watch you wear, and whether your salary is can afford these kind of things, and you will be in trouble. So that's although we don't have freedom of expression, but the social media and the internet changed everything. And although we don't have democracy in this country, but the government operation and the government officials, their behavior are under this kind of a pressure.
And they're under scrutiny these days. Now, why did you write this book? I mean, why, and also why in French?
Well, it's a coincidence. I'm a friend with Mikhail, the TV journalist, and he came to me, asked, "Do you want to write this book?" And the publisher would like to publish it. And then I always had this problem with the idea of writing a book.
Why is that?
Because from my impression, observing the young dissident, I consider myself still young, and when you write a book, tend to be overly ambitious, overly looking at yourself as maybe a hero, and the public read you and project you as a victim of fighting for justice, and you sacrifice and everything. And
but you did, in a way. You spent 22 months in jail.
It depends how you see it, and I don't like the way to be seen that way. And a victim, a bitter victim, it's the way I chose, and when I was an adult. And even it's bitter, and I choose to be like that. And then I want to, if possible, I want to bring the new image that it is okay if you choose your way and fighting for this future, and you pay a price, and it's different people on different career path are paying a price. And I just stay in prison for 2 years, but I learned huge deal in prison, only 2 years, that so many people want to learn those things in a lifetime. I get a good deal in 2 years in prison.
Well, that's a very unique way of looking at it, Han Dongfang. I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for being with us. And that's this edition of the France 24 interview. Do stay with us here on France 24.